Well, hello there and welcome back to the Whiskey Friend with me, Alan. I've been away for a few weeks now. I had a little break, went on holiday with the family, recharged my batteries, tried to do as little whiskey as I could. I've been doing a lot of whiskey this year, so I thought I'd try something else. So it's great to be back. I hope you've missed me. Just on one of my last videos, I did 10 whiskies to try before you die. That's now become my most viewed video, so I'd love to thank everybody who watched it and everyone who commented and everyone who subscribed. A fantastic result with that, really pleased with it. So the great news is I think I'm going to bring you another 10, but it's not 10 to try before you die. This is 10 15-year-old whiskies that I think should be in everyone's dream bar. So if you have a bar at home, I'd like to think that a few of these would be in it. I'm going to give you some top tips to give you a reason why they probably should all be in it. They're all in mine. The reason I've done 15-year-olds is I think through my whiskey journey I've found that sometimes when I have some younger stuff, some 8s, 10s, 12s, sometimes I get that youthful feel from it. And when I get to do some older stuff, maybe some 18s, 21s, 25s and above, then they tend to be a bit woody and a bit older. For me, the best kind of age statement, it seems to suit my palate in general, and this is just purely my opinion. I really like 15-year-olds. I seem to have a fondness for 15s. I seem to buy a lot of 15s. So I'm going to give you a little run through a few of the ones that I have, probably the top 10 15s that I would have in my bar. So without any further ado, just before I crack on with those whiskies, guys, just a little bit of housekeeping. It's the usual. If you're a returning subscriber, then thanks very much and welcome back. If you're watching for the first time, you may want to click that subscribe button down below. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. You'll be helping the channel on its way to the magical 1K. So now the whiskey, that's why we're here. So the first of my 15, they're not in any particular order, guys. I've not said which one's the best one, which one's not the best one. This is just purely 15 and I'm going to do them in a random order. Let's crack on. First one. Yes, before you start, it's Glenfiddich 15 Solera. This for me is just a everyday sipper. Go to it. It's inoffensive. It's complex. It's Glenfiddich. Yes, it's coloured. Yes, it's 40% ABV. For one of those, just to have a nice sip one night, this does the trick altogether. It's complex for a 40%er. There's lots of vanilla, lots of toffee, lots of plums, raisins. It has lots and lots. It's quite spicy. It's rich. It's wonderful. There's lots of marzipan. It's silky. It's mouth coating. It's lots of flavour. It's great, and it's coming in probably 40 to 45 pounds. This is one you could generally pick up on offer. I have seen it lower. I've seen it at maybe 30 to 35 pounds at certain times. For me, at that price, it's a no-brainer. Listen, guys, it's not going to blow you away. It's just one there that's handy. It'd be ideal, possibly, maybe for a beginner. A lot of the other whiskies I'm going to do might not suit beginners. They're probably more kind of intermediate whiskey drinkers to more established malt heads. But this one you could probably get away with as a beginner. So this would be the first one, 15-year Glenfiddich Solera. The second one, I've done some reviews on these quite recently. Let me search down here. I've got bottles everywhere at the moment, guys. So this one, I have reviewed this. This is the Glenfarclas 15. 46% ABV, non-coloured. It's rich, it's velvety. It's got all the kind of, it's very mouth-watering. It's intense, it's full flavoured. So again, back to this, it's spicy, it's oaky, it's fruity, it's very, very sweet. At the 46% ABV, for me it's a perfect kind of ABV level. It's moving up, it's a little bit more intense than the Solera. It's the extra ABV. I think again with the Glenfarclas Spirit, it is a bit hot anyway. So for me, this is taking you to another level. This is definitely more for the intermediate drinker. Little bit of a sherry bomb, lots of cinnamon. It's really well balanced. It's just a real tasty dram. So that's the second one, Glenfarclas 15. Again, this one's coming in probably about £50, £55. Again, super value. Okay, the next one, I'm moving over to Campbelltown. Let's have a look. Glen Scotia 15, 46% ABV. It's empty. This is one I've been drinking quite a bit of over the last probably 2 or 3 years. This is a really steady dram. Again, it comes in at £55. It's beautiful, but don't be worried about the empty bottle, guys, because I've got some more of it. So I have been going through this quite a bit. For me, it's just a super whiskey. I have reviewed this in the past. This is review number. Oh, I'll pop a link to the review number, guys, because I'll just pop a link to the review. I say I have done this in the past, so I'm not going to give you too much about it. It's clean, it's crisp. Again, for me, it's a go-to. It's that Campbelltown. There's lots of citrus, lots of orange notes, maybe some tangerine. It's a really interesting dram. Beautifully balanced. It's mouth coating. There's a little hint of smoke in it, not a lot of smoke. Lots of ginger spice. There's a little bit of herbal. It's a super whiskey to nose. Wonderful dram. Again, this comes in at £55. This is going to be on my shelf or in my cabinet or in my bar as long as it's available. I say I have had quite a few bottles of it. There's not much, if any, batch variation. They all seem to be very consistent. It's complex. There's lots of vanilla, lots of toffee, lots of fudge. It's got lots. In this one, I tend to get a lot of tropical notes in this. Pineapple, mango, all that kind of stuff. I struggle to find anybody else who gets it, so it's just something that I pick on my palate. If you do tend to get that tropical notes, drop me a comment in below. I'm really interested to see if anybody else gets it. So let's move on. Glen Scotia 15 should be in everyone's dream bar. The next one is another one that I've reviewed, so if you want to check out this one as well, you can go back and check it. This is the Glencadam 15, one of Ralphie's whiskies of the year. As you can see, I'm getting through this quite a bit again. 46% ABV, all natural coloured, no chill filtration. It's very characteristic of Glencadam. I have done a Glencadam series. If you want to go back and check that, you can feel free to go back and check that. They are very consistent because they've got one thing in common. They're all very fruity, very sweet, and there's a little bit of spice in all of them. This one's got a lot of lemon citrus, lots of fresh fruit. This is a wee bit maltier than some of the other ones. Again, it's complex. I tend to find, as I go into 15-year-olds, I tend to get that wee bit more complexity in the drams. There's lots of honey, lots of vanilla, super stuff. It's got a great mouth feel. It's mouth watering. It's oaky. It's got some really nice wood notes. There's bits of peach. It's really complex, guys. Fresh fruits, lots of cereal note. It's really juicy. So there's some fantastic stuff in this. As I say, there's lots of fresh fruit. It is quite delicate, so I'd be careful with water with this one. If you like putting water in your drams, I tend to prefer this without water. But it is a delicate whiskey, but it's super stuff. So that's the Glencadam 15. Super whiskey. Should be in your bar. Moving on. So I'm moving on to one of these. As you can see, they're very different. Super drams. So both 15s. This one we're tackling now is the new Old Pulteney 15. I have done a review of Old Pulteneys before, the 17s, the 21s, the 12. This is the new range of the 15-year-old. I was a wee bit critical in my reviews of this. I have decided to give it a go. It wasn't really the whiskey I was having a go at, it was the pricing structure at Old Pulteney. So, but as things have moved on, I think Old Pulteney were hoping that people would do this, and hopefully I'm falling into that trap. I've actually bought a little sample of this, tried it, and I've now ordered my bottle of Old Pulteney 15. And I think that'll sit on my shelf now for as long as it's around. As you can see, guys, I don't know if you can see here, but I'm an Old Pulteney fan. I've got the 17, the 21, and I've got the 12. I've got quite a few Old Pulteneys, so I'm a wee bit of a fan of Old Pulteney. So I'm glad that I've actually decided to try this and enjoy it. So Old Pulteney, the new range. I'm going to review this in full when I get the bottle. But I'll give you a quick overview of it now. So I was a wee bit concerned when I first poured this because there was not a lot not coming from the nose, but it's been sitting here now for about an hour, and it has, glad to say that it's opened up. So if you do have this Old Pulteney and you're planning to get it, give it some time in the glass because it needs some time to open up. But the first thing that you pick up from this is it has that typical Old Pulteney character, but this one seems a lot lighter. It's a lot lighter on the nose. You have to really search for things, but there's a big apple note on the nose, like a baked apple. Maybe some candied sweets. It's a touch of chocolate. And then that citrus comes in again. There's some orange citrus, some caramel. It's a little bit of, it smells, touch of smoke, not a lot. Then it's fudgy, it's spicy, it's cinnamon spice, and it has a great nose. Wonderful, wonderful nose. Let me just try this because I'm getting a little bit, I think I've been over talking a little bit too much already. So let me have a wee sip of this Old Pulteney 15. Okay, initially it is a light dram, but it's really, really nice. It's mouth watering. It's sweet. You've got some ginger spice, some cinnamon, so there's a real spicy note through this. Some clove maybe. And then I'm picking up some dried fruits. So it's just going to be a quick taste in this, guys. So that's just the initial kind of bits that I'm getting up front. Let's do a little bit more for the finish. There's definitely more in here, guys, but I'll do that in the full review. A little bit of salt on the taste there as well. Quite salty, which you would expect from Old Pulteney anyway. On the finish, it's a long finish. Citrus, salty, a little bit of lemon now, I think. Lemon and orange, not too sure which, but yeah, it's got a bit lemony. Chocolate, spice, and wood. It's quite oaky as well. But yeah, no, it's a wonderful, wonderful dram. Really looking forward to getting my bottle of this. So, beautiful. Old Pulteney 15. Get it on your shelf. Okay, guys, moving on. This is moving on to the next one. So I've just recently purchased this one. I was up in Glasgow when I got back from holiday. I had a quick trip to Glasgow. I had something to pick up. I'm going to try and show you guys. I don't know if I can do this right, but bear with me. I was up in Glasgow collecting. I've had a little barrel done. I'd like to thank Mr. Mark Slinger for that. Let's see if I can get this right. Yeah, there you go. Mr. Mark Slinger sorted me out a whiskey barrel and he's branded it up for me. That looks okay, I think. Very thanks for that. Cheers again, Mark. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Great job, mate. So when I was up there, I popped into the Good Spirits Company in Glasgow. Bumped into Roddy. Made a couple of purchases. I bought this one. I also bought the Ralphie. Ben Nevis celebrating Ralphie's 10 years on YouTube. Bought the aged 4 years Ben Nevis. Bottle number 36 of 155. A whopping 61% proof. So I'm looking forward to cracking into that at some point. But anyway, get back to this. So the other one I bought was the Glenallachie 15. Colour of that, eh? That is dark, that stuff. This Glenallachie is, again, it's Billy Walker. Big fan of Glendronach. I'm sure there's a couple of Glendronachs coming up later on, or something from Glendronach coming up later on in this. But this one is the Glenallachie 15. It's just recently come out, so I've had a couple of drams of it. I've got one poured here. Let me just cleanse my palate here, see if I can get rid of some of this. This old Pulteney actually is still hanging around, which is fantastic. So, Glenallachie. Again, this is 15-year-old, 46% ABV, no colour, or natural colour, and non-chill filtered. Super. Ticks all the boxes. Super, super dark. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Gonna taste it. Again, this is matured in PX and Oloroso casks. I think it's some puncheons and some hogsheads that I've read up on. Wow. Again, this is super, super sweet. Smells rich. Lots of raisin, big raisin note. Some butterscotch. Some sweet spice. Actually smells a little bit nutty as well. Maybe some walnut or maybe some peanut. Some dates and some chocolate. So just a quick taste, guys, because I'm going to plan and review this at some point. So again, Slanch Glenallachie 15. That's nice. Reminds me of something else, but I'll come back to that. On the palate, it's dark. You can see it's dark. It tastes dark. It's dark fruits, dark chocolate, some orange, a bit of citrus, banana, raisin and caramel. Wow, super. A little bit dryness. That big Christmas cake note there as well, and get some spicy ginger. So wow, that's super, super stuff. Let me just do a little bit on the finish. I love sherry. So on the finish, it's a medium finish. Picking up some coffee, maybe some Turkish Delight, and a little bit of spice on the end. It's a little bit woody. So again, super, super dram. I did try a few of these. I was a little bit, I wasn't disappointed, but I was a little bit underwhelmed at the beginning, but it has, as it's got past the shoulder, it's definitely got better. So I'm very, very hopeful that this will stay on my shelf. But yeah, I'm chuffed with Glenallachie. I think Billy Walker's, he had a lot to prove when he moved from Glendronach to Glenallachie. I think initial results are proven to be quite good. So if you've tried it, guys, let me know how you got on with it. As I say, I will do a proper review of it later on. Okay, moving on. I'm not sure what number I'm on because I've not listed these in numbers, but I'll get rid of that. The next one, I'm moving back over to Campbelltown again, so I think you would all be disappointed if I didn't have a Springbank in here. So I do. Springbank 15. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Again, guys, I have reviewed it, so if you want to go back, to review number 25, you can certainly have a look at this one. This one again was intense. It was sweet, it was spicy, lots of lemon and lime, super stuff. Some chocolate. Again, this was really complex for me when I originally reviewed it, and when I keep tasting it, it never lets me down. There's lots and lots of stuff going on with this, and the one I highlighted on my review, there was little bits of everything. There was lots of stuff, but there was little bits of chocolate, little bits of peat smoke, little bits of cereal notes, little bit of oak. It has everything, so it's got all the complexity that you'd ever want for a whiskey, and that's one of the beauties of the 15-year-olds. I think they are complex. It's salty, it's grassy, it's sweet, it's like a fruit salad. It had it's great age. I think 15's a great age for this one. It's beautifully balanced. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be on most people's bar. If it's not on the bar, guys, please drop me a comment and tell me why it's not there. But again, for me, this is a super dram. Everyone should have it on their shelf or the bar. Okay. Okay, guys, I think that's me. I think I've done 6, 7 maybe. I don't know. You'll be able to go back and check and let me know. Let's get rid of this. Put this back on the shelf. Okay, folks, this one is probably, I think I've got 2 in my 10 that are a wee bit harder to get a hold of. They're not impossible to get a hold of. In fact, I think they are. If you want them and you want to try and get them, then I think they're easy enough to get a hold of. They may cost you, depending on what you're going to pay for them. They may cost you anything from, the one I'm going to do now may cost you anything from £50 to about £150, depending on where you get it and how you get it. So this one here it's an old bottling, it's an old discontinued bottle of Longmorn 15. I've bought a few of these now and I get them at auction. So they're discontinued. They've been discontinued for a while now. But there's lots of them around, guys. If you check a few of the auction sites, you'll see these pop up all the time. So there's lots of them around. There's no shortage of this. It just depends on the price that you're willing to pay for it. I've paid as little as £50 for this, and I've paid as much as £120 for it. So I know there's a big difference in the price there. What I tend to find now is when you're looking through the auction sites, if you see 4 or 5 of these come on at the same auction, then you'll usually get that lower end value, 50, 60, 70 pounds. If there's only 1 or 2 on the auction site, then you'll probably find you'll have to pay more for it. So I'd probably, if you only see 1 or 2 bottles, I'd probably leave it alone. Once it comes on with 4 or 5 or 6 bottles, then I'd dive into it, because it's a super whiskey. The 16-year-old is another one that's probably my favourite 16-year-old, which I think I've got some here. The Longmorn 16, again, discontinued. There is a current Longmorn 16. I just don't find that the current one as good as this one. So I tend to look out for this, pay a wee bit more for this. Again, I've got 3 or 4 bottles of this put away. As you can see, I love this. This is probably my favourite 16-year-old. But anyway, getting back to this one. Whether I'd compare these two, it'd be a tough slog out, because this is super. This one has got lots of licorice. It's very woody, it's very floral. There's lots of old leather, there's sherry, there's fruitcake. It's beautifully complex, there's marzipan notes. It's rich, it's spicy, it's chocolate. It's super sweet. It's listen, if I was to put this head to head with a 16, some days this would come out on top, some days the 16 would come out on top. But for me, this is fantastic whiskey. I'm going to always try and have a bottle of this. As long as I can get a hold of these, I'm going to keep buying them and just whizzing through them as often as I can. It's not so much as a go-to now, because I've got lots of whiskies and there's lots of go-tos, but this is one that's definitely going to stay on the shelf as long as I can keep it there. As I say, if I can pick up any of these anywhere 50, 60, 70 pounds, snap them up, guys, because it's super value. It's old whiskey as well. I think there's some kind of feelings around that the older stuff is not as good as the new stuff's not as good as the older stuff. That's different opinions for different people. This one, for me, this is just a nice older whiskey, and it's fantastic. Get a chance, pick it up. If you've got a dream bar, this should be on it. In fact, just to let you know, I've got a few of them. I just keep snapping them up, guys. So again, it's super stuff. Longmorn 15. And this is the thing with Longmorn, it's not easily to get a hold of Longmorn anyway. I think it's very, there's a lot of demand for it. But if you can get that at the right money, snap it. Anyway, moving on. Next one. It's got a big place in my heart. Glendronach. This is the Glendronach 15 Revival. This is the new Revival, the Rachel Barry version. They've added this one. This is done a mix now of PX and Oloroso sherry casks, whereas the old one was just the Oloroso casks. So they've changed it slightly, but I think it's a fantastic whiskey. It's readily available at the minute. I know certain regions in the world that sell it out pretty quickly, but here in the UK it seems pretty easy to get a hold of. So if you live here, then you're in great territory. Fantastic stuff. It's Oloroso and it's PX. It's raisin, it's juicy, it's plums, it's nutmeg, it's cinnamon, it's spicy, it's oaky, touch of licorice. Wonderful stuff. I think Rachel Barry had a lot to prove as well when she took over. She's come back with this. I think she's done a great job of it. I'll come on to whether it's as good as the other one, because without any further ado, the last one on my 10, you won't be surprised to know that it's the original 15 Glendronach. This is the Billy Walker version. They say this one is just done in Oloroso, Spanish Oloroso casks. Comparing them, wow, they both taste great, guys. Both taste wonderful. They're all juicy, they're sweet, they're fruity, they're dark, they're dried fruits, they're fresh fruits, they're plums, there's raisins, they've got rummy notes, they've both got them all. But this is the one, guys. I know if you've watched my videos before, you might know this is the dram that turned me from a collector to a drinker, and it was this one. I won't go on with the story, but I ended up drinking a bottle of this with some mates, and after that was a game changer for me. So I've got a big place in my heart for the old Glendronach 15, which is this one. But again, it's going to be an auction bottle, guys, because it's discontinued. The beauty of it is it's with Glendronach, the 15s and the 18s, they actually have older stuff in them. So I think this has got some 19, 20-year-old stuff in this, the older one. I'm not too sure what's going on with the new one. Still tastes great though. This is coming in about £65 a bottle, I think. 60, 65, which is great value. It's readily available. Going back to this one, guys, again, it's going to be an auction bottle. But the great news with this, probably a year ago, 2 years ago, this was fetching £200, £250 a bottle at auction to get hold of it, which for me, I think is probably just too much for it. But since the new one's come out, it's had an effect on this one at auction. So this is now coming in anywhere from kind of £80 to £120. If you can pick this up at the £80, £90, guys, I would snatch this. If you're a Glendronach 15 lover, then I'm sure you'll pay the £120 for it, because it's just super stuff. But again, there's lots of it on auction. I think it's really easy to get a hold of it. It just depends if you want to pay that money to get a hold of it. And that's, I say, I've got a few bottles of this now as well. But that's my, I think that's my 10, I think, guys. I'm pretty sure that's 10 bottles. That's the 10 15-year-olds that should be on everyone's dream bar, dream shelf, whatever you want to call it. That's my personal take on my 15s. I love the 15-year-old age statements. That seems to fit my palate perfectly. Is that 15? It's not too young, it's not too old. It's got the complexity. It's not driven by the spirit. It's not driven by the wood. It's pretty much perfect for my palate. Around that 15, guys, you can look at maybe 14-year-olds or maybe 16-year-olds. So I've got a couple of 14s that I think would come into this kind of category. Again, it should be on your bar. I've got the 14s would be the Klein Leash 14. So again, that should be in most people's bar. It's just slipped under the 15-year-old age statement, but I think 14 is perfect for this. The other one, which I'm out of at the minute, is the Aaron 14. I think that's another one that's beautifully complex. Great age for Aaron. It's got that Aaron characteristic. Again, it's super whiskey. Just slipping past the 15 to 16s, there's a couple of 16s. The Longmorn 16, I said, is one that would fit that character. This is probably my favourite 16-year-old, as I said earlier. The other one would be Lagavulin 16. So if you like those peaty whiskies, then that Lagavulin 16 would be another one that would slip in. Just before I go, guys, I've just purchased another 15. I've not got to try it yet, so whether this stays on the bar, I'm not sure yet. So I've picked up the Flora and Fauna Ben Rennes 15. So again, I just love 15-year-old ages. So that's pretty much me. I'm not too sure how long this video has been going on. I think it's probably 35-36 minutes now. I might need to trim that down a bit in editing. But other than that, guys, it's super stuff. Love to thank everybody again for watching. If you're again watching for the first time, great. If you're a returning subscriber, great. If you've subscribed, great. If you've not, you may want to consider hitting that bell, hitting that subscribe button. As I say, you're helping the channel on the way to the magical 1K. And that's me. I'm Alan. Thanks very much, and I'll catch up with you in the next one. Cheers, guys. Great to be back. One last thing, just remember the pleasure is in the sharing. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Bye bye. Slanch.